This is going to be a small training video to help our customers understand how to configure the Wincom EAP Search app. The search uses QMLs, that's Query Builder. The Query Builder is a tool, long-standing tool within Wincom, which allows users to create complex queries and execute those. It will always respect access control, and by building ourselves on top of this engine, it gives us great flexibility about what we can achieve. The user interface is divided into three main sections. The first one is the searches themselves. These are tabs where we put each of the searches that we define. Every search has two primary elements. The first one is the criteria, so we can define a whole series of things the user would like to search for. The second is the results themselves, which are presented in a table form. Within the searches, we can also define actions. These are very useful to allow us to then move on to other actions, such as going to Wincom itself, or opening a portal, or downloading some PDF. We'll also show how to define new actions and exactly how to use those. Let's take a look at the search in action. So here's a typical example of an EAP setup. We're going to log into it. Once we log in this particular case, we have various options set up, and we're going to go straight into the search option. The search option will present us the pre-configured searches that we have. The first search you see is part, but we have an extended search engine called part for SKU reports. We have CAD, we have documents, we have change. The search is very simple and intuitive to use. We can simply type in a number. We don't need to use stars. We don't need to use any complex mechanisms to specify a search. We hit search, we get the results. Results are in the table form. The table quickly can be navigated. We can do some searching on the table in order to find specific numbers or specific information. We also have a very interesting work we've done recently, which allows you to do facets in order to restrict your searches down to specific types of data that you get in a search. So more or less a search within a search. The searches we have can all be downloaded after we've done them. So if I go back to the full 29 entries here, we can look at this and we can take it down straight into an Excel format and open this. One of the first things we may want to do is add or remove a column from the results. To do this, we have to go to the actual server that's driving the results. Here's our server here. We're going to go straight into the Wincom administrator. Here we can see we have admin access, so we're going to go to the site panel, go to the utilities page, move down until we find the report management. This is where our queries are. So let's have a look at the 4 queries that are being used to drive our searches. Here they are. The part query is here. We can simply go to it, edit the report template, and we can see exactly what is driving our search query. The first thing we see is the tables which are being used here, both part and context. You can see here that there's a number of parameters and selections. So these columns here are used in the display results, and here these are the ones being driven by the criteria. You can note that we have all the same results that we have in our report that you see in the EAP. So what we're going to do here is add a new one. I'm going to choose an end item so that we can identify an end item in the system. Here's the end item. We're going to hit OK. The end item has now been added as a new column. Apply. At this point, I simply close down my query. It's now saved. I go back to my dashboard and I simply refresh. At this moment, you will immediately see that the new end item has appeared at the end and it's immediately active. So if I look for GC items, the end item column is being filled here, a yes here, and it's immediately being added to the filter so we can use it as our internal filter. The next change we might like to make is on the actual search criteria. You can see at the moment we have 6 search criteria, and what we're going to do is add a new one. At this point, in order to change the criteria, we need to change the template that's driving the EAP. The template is written in a JSON format, and the entire configuration of the EAP is here. The first one we can see is that we can see the various searches are configured here. This is the search parameters. This is the table, including the title, the icon, and this is the actual query that we're making. We also have limits set on as well. What I'm going to do now is add additional parameters to this page. So if I take the versions section, which is a simple on-off knob here, and I copy that section of the JSON, I'm going to add a comma, make it correct format. We're going to call it end items. It's important to realize that the parameterization doesn't actually know what the data is. It is simply passing information into the parameter of the QML. We're going to give it a identifier, end items. Okay, so we'll do end item. We'll keep it as Boolean, and what we'll say is data on would be yes, and data off would be no. At this point, we simply need to save the configuration. The dashboard will update, and when it's updated, you'll see our new end item parameter has arrived, and we have a yes and no switch. This isn't the end. We now need to go to the QML, add this as an additional parameter in the QML, but once we've done that, then we'll be able to search for our end item. Now let's see how we can add a brand new search to our EAP. The searches are all contained in tabs at the top here, and again, in order to do this, all we need to do is start to change the template that drives this dashboard. The first thing I'm going to do is add a new tab at the top. As you can see, the tabs are described here. It's quite straightforward to add a new one. We'll take an existing tab, say change, put the right format in. We're going to put in a different icon. Perhaps we'll reuse the part icon again. We'll change it to maybe promotions. And there, promote. So now we have our new tab. We again save the file. And if you look closely behind, the dashboard will update. And we have a new tab. At this moment the tab is empty. Now we have to fill it with our new search. So if I go down here, these are the sections here. You'll notice that each one represents a different search. I'm going to simply take the change search here and start to reuse it for our new search. We'll keep the parameterization the same for the moment. We'll call it promote. We'll start to change again. We'll change the icon. We'll say promotion search results. Promotion search results. And at this point, we'd need to change the QML. I'm going to leave it as it is for the moment. And we're going to see if we can get this to appear in our system. One of the most important things to realize is that we can also change the limits. This will allow us to stop hitting our database too hard. So perhaps we know that the query behind this is quite a hard query, and we want to make sure the user never exceeds a limit of 2,000 items. Again, at this point, we don't need to do very much. We simply need to save the template. The dashboard behind will update. And if I go to my new promotions tab, you can see we have our new search ready to go. Now we just need to go into the system, change the QML, configure it to search for what object we wish, and we have a new search. Finally, on the searches, we can also adjust which actions appear. Again, as with the rest of the search configuration, most of it's done with the template config file. So let's have a look at that. Here you can see our searches here, and we have a little parameter which is called actions. Now the actions has various keywords we can put in here. Some of the keywords would be for starting up something like a Wincom app to bring down reports, or we may have portal. There's a whole series of actions that we're allowed to put in here, and of course if you wish to have a new action, you can request it from us and we'll be able to add it into the background code of the EAP to give you what action you wish. We've had various customers asking us for zip downloads, representation exports. There's a whole series of actions we might want to add there. Thank you for listening to this video on the search. I hope it's been informative to you. There's a lot more that we haven't covered. For example, there's a lot more user interface features which make the search easy to use. We also have various searches such as this one, which is what we call an extended search. This will allow us to not just do query building, but also add Java features, so we can do things like, in this case, a SKU report, where we'll do a multi-level where used. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to contact us here at Wincom, and we'll be very happy to help you.